The Senate stands ready to fulfill its constitutional role by offering advice and consent on President Trump's nominee.
Action on a Supreme Court nomination must be put off until after the election campaign is over.
In my view, are required to give the nominee a hearing and a vote.
What a unique opportunity to establish that regardless of the next president's party, the nominees will be treated fairly and on the basis of their qualifications.
The Senate will not confirm this nominee. Will follow the same rule book that Democrats have advocated for in the past.
I represent 19 million people, yet my vote is no more important than the presiding officers or any of my other colleagues.
As one of the more than 65 million Americans who voted to re-elect Barack Obama, I'd say my voice is being ignored.
There is no language in the Constitution that creates a right to a vote for a nomination.
I wish the Senate would remember that each one of us took an oath.
We cannot hijack the president's power to appoint judges. Deferring the confirmation process for a particular vacancy may be the most appropriate and responsible exercise of advice and consent. Any senator may vote against any nominee for any reason, but we must vote. Once voting is started in a presidential election campaign in that particular toxic environment, we should not be bringing up the Supreme Court nomination.
The Constitution sets the standard. The president nominates. The Senate deliberates. And then we are obligated to give our advice and consent in an up or down vote.
A Supreme Court nomination isn't a forum to fight any election.
You got to accept the will of the electorate.
The Senate has never stopped confirming judicial nominees during the last few months of a president's term.
When I make a decision based on sound principle, I'm not about to flip-flop.
To change the rules in the middle of the game so that they can make all the decisions while the other party is told to sit down and keep quiet.
I pray God when the Democrats take back control, we don't make the kind of naked power grab you are doing.
I support the step a majority of senators today took.
I actually believe that the Senate rules were impeding us working together.
We will change the Senate rules to uphold the law, that the court will be 9 members.
We're insisting that we're going to vote under that 60-vote threshold.
Nowhere in that document does it say the Senate has a duty to give presidential nominees a vote. You should not be able to come in here and change willy-nilly a rule of the Senate. The changes we're making are very, very minimal.
Up or down vote? That's not what the Founding Fathers intended.
You know what the Founding Fathers said? Simple majority.
When a nominee doesn't get 60 votes, you shouldn't change the rules. You should change the nominee.
The old rules need to be modified.
They will change the rules, break the rules, misread the Constitution, so that they will get their way. We should not confirm any Bush nominee to the Supreme Court except in extraordinary circumstances.
The job, first and foremost, is for the president to nominate and for the Senate to hold hearings and go through the process.
The Senate has repeatedly adjusted its rules as circumstances dictate.
So you were for it then? You think it's outrageous now?
Look, I'm glad we didn't do it.
You wish it hadn't happened?
Yep.
A senator should have some humility in opposing a Supreme Court nomination on ideological grounds.
One of my proudest moments is when I looked at Barack Obama in the eye and I said, Mr. President, you will not fill this Supreme Court vacancy.